where you've actually been living a false reality.
Yeah, yeah,
That ain't
yeah.
easy when you're
No.
being cheesy, right? So lastly, I say transparent communication birthed out of that. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was transparent communication is an inside job, meaning that
Mm-hmm.
it's not about brutality. It's not just about just going telling everybody you're a liar, you're a liar. No, you have to start going, where's the compassion and the empathy that I have with myself
Mm-hmm.
to know that this has been a culturally conditioned program that I'm a part of, and many others
Mm-hmm.
are. And
Yeah.
in order to face our truth and be authentic, which is the question you asked, we
Mm-hmm.
have to face our fears and understand what fear really is. And
Mm-hmm.
that not just the natural mechanism of fear that we have, which is a bloody awesome biological imprint that enables
Mm-hmm.
us to be safe and, helps us, from protect us from danger. There's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, the fight flight system is a beautiful
Yeah.
design, but then
Mm-hmm.
look at the psychological fear
Mm-hmm.
that we have built up and plastered on ourselves that blocks us from the truth of who we are. So
Mm-hmm.
then we go deep into fear, the pain body, and we go into where our inner communication is and our outer communication. And it's a beautiful dance. But like you said earlier, it can be a great on the manifesto, but
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
basically it's a
yeah,
big.
it's
Just
a
lastly, I say
practice.
it's a big upheaval. But my God, I can only say this to every single person listening. It is such a beautiful path. And it is such
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful revealing when you know inside yourself you're not
Mm-hmm.
lying and you're not assuming and you're not projecting and personalizing and you're being impeccable to your word and your words match your actions and then you're in integrity. And when you're in
Mm-hmm.
that place, there's a sense of deep peace
Mm-hmm.
and a growing awareness that you're not contributing to the rest of the lies and the deceit and all of
Mm-hmm.
that jazz.
Yeah, yeah,
Boom!
yeah.
Boom,
Mic
yeah.
drop. Mic drop.
And I want to just add.
Wait there. I got a 10 on. Boom! Boom, boom.
And I just want to add something practical to this very beautiful description of Sai. When we started our relationship 7 years ago, he invited me into what at that point I didn't know anything about. He called a sharing, just at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of our like we weren't even fully loving. We're not even fully lovers yet, but we just sat opposite each other. And he invited this structure, which is basically closing your eyes, and every person just gets a couple of minutes to share, and you go back and forth, and there's some other little points on this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that point I came out of a very kind of destructive, very normal relationship from 6 years. And I knew I wanted something different. And so Simon came and offered this tool. And very quickly I realized, oh my God, just sitting here with my eyes closed and talking from my heart and being able to reveal whatever is here right now. Why haven't I done this before? Why has nobody ever told me that there are practices that can help us speak truth, that can help us actually
Mm-hmm.
break the molds? Because we have this, it's a bit like sexuality. Communication is a bit like that as well. We grow up,
Mm-hmm.
nobody really teaches it. Nobody really
Yeah,
gives us
yeah.
any tools. We're just sort of
Mm-hmm.
supposed to know how we do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And we keep on repeating the old systems and the old
Mm-hmm.
patterns and keep using the old tools in the way that we have been, and nothing really ever comes from that until we break these patterns. So once we
Mm-hmm.
started to have a regular sharing practice where like once a week we come together and share, just empty our baskets, basically empty what's inside of ourselves, just reveal like, hey, this has been going on for me,
Mm-hmm.
on for you. Then it starts to spill over into life. It starts to become part of my
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like,
Your daily
oh,
practice,
yes,
even.
and
Yeah.
we feel like, oh, when I feel he's a bit off, it's like, hey, how are you
What's
feeling?
going on?
What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? Share. And then we invite each other more and more into truth because we've been practicing
Yeah.
to sit
Mm-hmm.
down and listen. And mostly it's about training to listen.
Yeah,
Effective
exactly.
communication
Yeah.
is much more about listening than
Than
it is about
speaking.
But
Yeah.
speaking.
speaking, yeah.
And listening to yourself and
Yeah.
listening to the other person, of course,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it means by it's an inside job. It's a beautiful point. I just want
Yeah.
to reference your life because I know your yoga and
Mm-hmm.
cooking and it's kind of similar with food, right? Is that you've gone into a world where you're educating people around veganism, around different ways to eat, the way that you bring flavor to food, the way you can mix foods. And, you know, for people that come out of the conditioned way of thinking it's 2 broccoli spuds and a piece of meat, right? All of a sudden they're like, what? And you're saying, yeah, and you're showing them this whole new way that they can engage with health and nutrition and food in general. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, Caro, that's just opened my mind to something I didn't even contemplate. It's exactly the same with authentic communication and sexuality.
Yeah. No, and I think, sorry, Dara, go.
I just want to throw in the word nourishment here. It seems like we are generally asked to find what is nourishing for us in all aspects of life. In your body, in your food, the way you nourish yourself with food, the way you nourish yourself with communication. Like, what can we look at everything that we do and evaluate what is actually nourishing? Because most of the behaviors that we're having on autopilot are not really nourishing us. They are like chopping our life force off and creating this more and more internal space where we are like living off of our bones and flesh, and then get disease and all of this stuff is because we're not nourishing ourselves with, like, on all levels, really. No,
it's really and I think also what we were mentioning about the truth, like, if there's one thing that I mean, of course I only cooked at the retreat, you know, the naked retreat, but there was something about you guys, for me, are also breaking taboos, stigma, dogma, you know, on all levels. Like, and I've faced it a little bit, of course, because I wasn't in the programs, but I've definitely seen people walk around naked and crying and screaming and all kinds of stuff. Where I felt like, there is also such taboo, also even on sexuality, you know, like, right. Or, you know, and then I think that is, or people have this vision straight away, or like, I mean, even in me, even with my friends, I would say like, it's going to be great. I'm going to, like, you know, be cooking at this naked retreat. Like, are they going to be naked? Like, okay. And at night they're all like having sex there with each other. And I was just like, dude, it's what? And I just, and even as some older people that I knew, I was like, I'm just saying that I'm going to a retreat. I'm not going to go there. Like, you know, it's too shocking apparently for people. But what
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, no, go on, carry on.
But because I think
speak to that briefly.
Because I think it is what for me, what I experienced also, and it was actually really funny because it was for me, you know, like, I've had like anorexia, I've had like so many problems with my body. So for me to even, I mean, I definitely didn't feel the need to walk around naked there, but I definitely was faced with, it was so beautiful to see people who just are completely free. And for me, it was the freedom part that I also was so inspiring for me. Like, why am I so caught up in my head about my body? And why is my body always, because my body and my experience with the body has always stopped me from some amazing shit, you know, like even like not wanting to, or feeling horrible to even share your body with someone else because you think it's fat, ugly, and all the rest, you know? So that was something that,
amazing topic.
So that's something that I felt very, because it was funny because I was on a festival before and it was super hot in the summer here in Holland, and there was a shower there, but I had to quickly go there, and I was like, okay, no one is around, I'll just quickly, you know, shower naked. And then also other people came, we were all like showering there naked, and I was just standing there. It's like, I would have never ever done this. Like, I have never even done it before, like where I would be standing there naked because I just had 5 minutes, I wanted a cold shower, I had to go back to the kitchen, and there was this liberating feeling of like, oh my God, this feels so nice, why don't I do this more often, sort of thing. But it was, and then for me, like having the, you know, an eating disorder and still feeling like crap about my body. I mean, it goes, you know, it's something that gets better and better. I mean, I feel very good now, but it's been something that for me was so beautiful to see. And that's also why I still have this beautiful, you know, the flyer from you guys from the retreat that says naked is dropping the idea of becoming someone because you already are a masterpiece, which is just, it's a constant reminder for me when I see this. So for me, even being alongside you guys and being, you know, being your super chef was inspiring, you know?
Yeah. And even just to speak to that, thank you for that. It's worthy of a nice breath actually there, because it's such a topic.
Mm-hmm.
No, really, it's such a beautiful topic you bring up around eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia. You know, my mum was anorexic when she was younger, when I was a baby, and we meet many people that have you know, challenges with food and body image and so on, and that plays back into kind of what we've spoken about on this talk already, about the culture of separation and competition and projections outside of the idea that we're wholeness. So if we think we're separate, we always feel that we need to become somebody else, be accepted by others, and you know, look and be a certain way that culture depicts is the acceptable way, right? And so when it comes, it's so also funny that you said, oh, are they going to be naked, meaning nude? And if they're nude, then that means sex. Like, as if like everyone who's nude has sex, because I don't know about you, but I meet many people that pretty much their sexual life is dead, and they must get nude every day.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, so for me, you know, in fact, the irony is a lot of people come on our retreat, and you know what? They come there, and once we actually unveil and everybody is nude, because I want to make the distinction here that naked and nude means two different things for Dara and I. Nude, everybody gets nude every day. It's very easy to get nude. It's extremely difficult to get naked. And actually, we're not interested in the nudity side of it. We're not like naturalists or nudists, and we're like, oh, everyone has to be nude. If you want to leave your underwear on, you want to leave your clothes on all week or all 10 days, but you show up fully naked in that, in your truth, in your transparency, and you reveal yourself in your deepest yearnings and your deepest truths, then I ain't give a flying hoot whether I see a bit of hair around your middle of your legs, or I see another hanging bit of flesh coming from the middle of a man's legs. I'm not there for that, right? What I'm there for is the innocence of the nudity. And what happens, most people go, oh my God, I came here, the most scariest thing ever was how I'm going to be perceived nude. Once everyone's nude and that's all that crap's fallen away, then they're like, shit, the real work was how I'm going to speak my truth. Right? That's where it starts to get really edgy, because now I've got to face the parts of myself that I mentioned earlier that are upholding a lie. I've got to face that my relationship's a lie, my job's a lie, the culture that I'm upholding is a lie, and so on and so forth. That is scary as hell to be naked with, because when you go back to your so-called reality that you thought was true, you've just stripped away so many layers. I mean, everybody in their own level strip away certain layers that change the fabric of their being, which means it changes the fabric of all their relationships, which means that they have now changed internally. That means that their whole outer reality will never be the same again.
To reflect it.
Hello.
Yeah.
That ain't easy when we're being cheesy. I don't know why I'm saying that so much today. It's like some new.
It's a good one. I want a T-shirt with it.
Anyway,
I want to add something around this idea of a nudity and sex connection.
Yes, please.
Or the taboo around sexuality, because this is actually what creates that idea in people's heads when they hear the word naked. Or even us saying we're working in the realm of sexuality and bringing you know, a deeper connection in, or a deeper awareness of the topic of sexuality. Lots of people just get this instant idea of a group orgy. You know, this is like the image that comes up. It's like, all right, these guys just facilitate group orgies.
14 retreats and I still haven't had one, but I'm open to it. I'm not fully closed to it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but the reason for that is because Sai and I, we like to dig into the taboos of society, so sexuality, money, death, truth, power as well. So we really like to look at the things that are in the shadows, because there is where the most energy is constricted. Yeah, any kind of thing that is pushed into the shadow holds a lot of energy, and then actually that energy is not being able to be used for solving problems that we're having right now. We're not actually in service to life, because we're having all these parts of ourselves that are cut off and shut in the cellar and, you know, basement, and thrown the key away because nobody really wants to talk about it. So that energy is locked away and we can't access it. So when we start looking there, when we start opening those doors, that energy gets freed, and that's really needed, because now your creativity starts to rise again, because this energy is what your creativity needs to live. Your sexuality, your connection to power, your connection to death and truth, all of this is actually like nourishing us from the inside out if we allow it to look at it. So the reason why most people get scared when we talk about sexuality or naked or whatever is because they are just like reminded of that dark cellar
of
in
the shadow
basement, right? It's like, oh fuck. And then all these these distorted images come up, because this is what like suppression does. It distorts the topic. So then now, because all this desire is tucked away, right, it's like somewhere locked in the basement of our being, it creates these fantasies of like, yeah, orgies